Okay, it's 6 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order tonight for, well, okay. May 23rd, Board of Directors meeting. Let's start with the invocation from Bob, please.
I'm glad to see we have a Bears fan on the left, on my left, and a Lions fan on this side over here. So good to see the two of them out there. I want to say our invocation at this time. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for this place called Sandy Pines, that we've come to enjoy and relax and meet friends and family. Father, we see your power, your strength, your majesty, from the rising of the sun to the closing of the day. We're grateful that no lives were lost or serious injuries from these powerful storms, the high winds, and the tornadoes from just a week ago. Yes, a handful of homes here at Sandy Pines were damaged, and many trees and branches were down between homes, on top of roofs, awnings, and areas of blocked streets. But by your grace, lives were saved. We thank you for giving the leadership here the foresight to develop shelters of safety, much like the ones we have here in the building we're currently in. We're also grateful for the hard work of the maintenance crew in cleaning up the debris and removing some of the limbs from the roads. This weekend, for some, it's the beginning of the summer, and for others, it's a solemn day of remembrance. As we approach this weekend and celebrate Memorial Day and the reasons for such a time as this, we honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice, and we remember those that served our country. Lord, at this time we are praying for warmer weather. We will remember these cool days. Hopefully we can remember these cool days when we're sweltering in the 90s. The Lord grant us peace. Make this the type of people who make us the type of people who encourage one another and bring out the best in those around us. We ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Bob. If we could all please rise, if you're able, for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kimberly, would you perform a roll call, please?
Ellen Carpenter. Here. Rick Day. Bob Deckinga. Here. Pat Dosema. Here. Jenny Hager. Here. Larry Munger.
Here.
Paul Peppel.
Here.
Craig Van Beek.
Here.
And Scott Wyman.
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. We have started a new procedure this year to give you members the opportunity to comment about any agenda items, and we have chosen to do that, so we want to hear your voice before we perhaps might vote on an item or anything that you'd like to speak about. Again, the couple criteria is agenda items only, and we ask that it's a comment only. This will not be a conversation. We do still retain the question and answer period afterwards, so there can be conversation and dialogue at that time. But at this time, if you'd like to make a comment toward anything on the agenda, we would just ask that you give your name and site number, step to the microphone, and don't be bashful. You just missed your chance, Kelly. You could have been member comment. All right, so. No? Okay. So, we don't do this very often, but I'm actually going to entertain a motion to the board from the board to go into closed session. Closed session is what a board uses to discuss items of either litigation, personnel, or member discipline.
Second.
That was good. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion carries. So we are going to exit into the meeting room off to the side here to just take care of a couple of items. Entertain yourselves, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Mike, here's the mic. I know. I should not do that.
At least we'll be in the other room.
seats in the back must be full. We got more people in the front.
Yeah. Did you get it? That's good. That's good.
Besides gas.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to return to open session. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on we go. Jeff, can you give us a rundown of the new park members from, I guess, through April, perhaps?
Yes, sir. I would love to. April sales totaled 12 for the month of April, 8 through the for sale by owner process, 3 through our sales department, 1 through our salesman Kent, 1 as a transfer. New members totaled 14. 2 were in their 30s, 3 were in their 40s, 3 were in their 50s, and 6 were in their 60s. And that summarizes April sales for 2025.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the new park members. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And that motion passes. By now, the board has received the minutes from the 2025 Board of Directors meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve those as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? And that motion passes as well. Kimberly, what's happening in the finance world? I guess we'll start off with Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails, April.
Yes. All right. Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails, as of April 2025 year to date, has an operations cash balance that initially is appearing lower in 2025 compared to 2024. It is important to note that with the completion of the project of the dam, the associated assessments will be transferring approximately $477,000 from the asset replacement fund to operations. This will result in a net increase of $156,000 in operation cash compared to previous year. In addition, our Charles Schwab investment account has grown by approximately $137,000 year over year. Total net income is up by about $10,000 over last year. Reviewing the consolidated financials, salaries for 2025 are currently running at a $156,000 run rate, down from about $160,000 in 2024, and is significantly below the budgeted run rate figure of $247,000 for this year. This is skewed a little as the bulk of salary falls during the seasonal months. However, the overall run rate of salaries is favorable as of April 2025 year to date. Operational expenses, which includes costs related to inspections, tree removal, dock services, newsletters, maintenance, proximity card systems, total $971,000 year to date, which is up from $903,000 in 2024. The current year-to-date amount also represents 62% of our current full-year budget of $1.6 million. Repair and maintenance costs are up by approximately $100,000 compared to last year and is reasonable with the current year-to-date projects completed so far this season. Utility expenses have increased by $81,000, which was partially anticipated and largely due to higher electricity usage related to the pump operations that help maintain and restore the lake levels. Our general expenses, which include offset business expenses such as seminars, postage, printing, licensing, insurance, personnel, and professional fees, and bank charges, is currently $52,000 year to date, which is compared to the budgeted run rate of $44,000 prior year. The department highlights are as follows. In administration, flea market income has seen a slight increase over last year, but does remain below expectations, achieving only 20% of the year-to-date budget. We're going to continue to look at that as the season goes on. Tree removal costs are now at $24,000 year-to-date, which is up from 0 last year, and are well aligned with budget projections. Maintenance, specifically grounds and pool maintenance costs, are tracking favorably against the budget. Within security, guest pass income has risen 24% year over year. Proximity card income has declined slightly by 2.5%, though this is a slight improvement from the 3.6% drop that was reported last month. All remaining departments do appear to be operating in line with both budget expectations and our operation goals. So this concludes my review for Sandy Pines, April 2025 year-to-date.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Well, turning ready. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes at the financials as presented. Any questions or comments for Kim? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Kim, 2025 Lake Monterey Golf Course. Yep. What's happening there?
For Lake Monterey Golf Course, April 2025 year-to-date, it was still the beginning start of the season, but they are picking up as of now. As of April 2025, operation cash and our accounts receivable are nearly on par with 2024, trailing just about $4,000 behind. Net income year-to-date as of April 2025 is 22% lower, or about $22,000 lower than the same period last year. However, total income from green fees and clubhouse sales is up by about 3.6% and reaching 45% of the annual budget. We are noticing that salary expense increased about 12%, or about $9,000, which is in line with our budget expectations, and it does reflect our adjustments that were made in response to the new Department of Labor regulations. Repairs and maintenance costs also within the golf course have risen by about $13,000, which is largely due to essential improvements following the acquisition of the new land and other needed repairs within the course. And this concludes the financial update for Lake Monterey Golf Course as of April 2025.
Thank you, Kim. I'll entertain a motion to approve the financial reports for the golf course as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve dues and what?
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes. Kim, I know you're starting to work a little bit on the preliminary budget for the upcoming year. Perhaps you give us a brief overview of what's happening.
As of April, well, during the month of April and beginning in May 2025, so as of today, we have reviewed, done some extensive reviews of the budget. So both the Finance Committee and the Board of Directors have taken thoughtful and thorough time to during the recent meetings to carefully review each aspect of our upcoming 2026 budget. In line with Article 8, Section 6 of our bylaws, and based on the March 2025 Midwest CPI Index, Sandy Pines will implement a 2.7% increase in both operation dues and the annual capital assessment. This increase totals $46 per membership, which $39 will be allocated to the operational dues and $7 will be allocated to the annual capital. For fiscal year 2026, we are also introducing the revised golf assessment. This will mark the first year that the golf assessment will be combined with the annual dues. The new rate will be at $125 per membership, which is down from the previous $150. Of this amount, $25 will continue to support the capital improvements for the golf course. The remaining $100 per membership, which will total $216,300, will fund the golf course operations. This represents about a $54,075 reduction in operational funding from last year's total of $270,375. We are optimistic that the increased efforts in the sales and operations of the golf course will help make up that difference. We're also staying proactive about the golf course's future needs, including our irrigation repairs that may be upcoming and other capital improvements. These items will be further evaluated in our ongoing monthly budget reviews. The administration has been working closely with the Finance Committee and the board on this month-to-month basis to carefully build and refine our budget. In the first month of review, as I noted, we implemented the 2.7% dues increase and aligned the revenue and expense projections to more accurately reflect our current inflation and economic trends that we're noticing. These adjustments specifically at this point have resulted in an additional $131,260 in projected expenses for the park, which will be funded within other areas of the budget as we continue to evaluate and address those over the coming months. Historically, as we've presented an initial budget at the start of the season and then a final budget at the very end of the year, this year we're going to work with a more transparent and collaborative process to help keep the Finance Committee and the board and membership informed in each step along the way and how this budget is created. This information will also be summarized in my financial footprint notes and shared during each of these monthly financial reviews and at the board meeting. So that concludes my review for the budget.
Thank you, Kim. Obviously, we're not voting on that. We won't be for several months, but it's quite the process to put a budget together and bring all these groups together, and Kim does a wonderful job at keeping us informed, and in turn we like to keep you informed as to what's happening. I'll segue into thanks to all of you. I really want to compliment you or anyone that's watching about that social media has been very quiet this year as far as negativity and this type of thing. It really doesn't do us any good, and it isn't doing any good to get on a soapbox and just whine about things and complain about things and not do anything about it. So I really appreciate that. That makes our job a heck of a lot easier. I also appreciate we get some wonderful questions through the Board of Directors I don't want to call it a website, but you can reach us on our own, not our Facebook page, on email. You can reach us on email, and we've gotten some great questions, and we've actually got some great ideas that we're going to look into a lot more closely. So please keep those questions and comments coming. Things are very positive. We want to keep it positive, but we want to hear what you're saying, because what we do ultimately reflects on a lot what you say and what your thoughts are as well. So that's my little spiel for this month. Jeff, your turn.
My turn. Thank you, Paul. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Wish we had better weather, but at least we're going to have some sun. So it's good to see the park hopping a little bit. We've got campfires stoking out there already when I drove over here. So it's good to see the park alive. You know, Bob had stated it in his invocation. This is a time of remembrance. So we have a great nation. This is the greatest country that is on this planet, and it's because of our fallen soldiers. And please remember them, and remember their families as well, because their families also paid the ultimate sacrifice. With Memorial Day weekend comes the kickoff of summer. So it's supposed to be the kickoff of summer, and so we did send out a reminder of a boating letter that's out there. Lake Monterey is going to get busy. Please take a look at that. Get yourselves acquainted with the boating rules and regulations out there. It was just another reminder from the board, lake committee volunteers and the park inspector's office, Jim and Steve, for putting the minions out already. It's going to be busy out there. And again, thank you to the staff, members, contractors after the storms. You know, we still haven't gotten our royalty from, what was it, TV8 for using the Sandy Pines name when they named the tornado. But it was very serious. It could have been a lot worse. We were blessed that we have a great staff. We have great members here. They all pitched in. Public safety was giving us updates on a regular basis as to what was going on. I was getting text messages while I was hunkered down into my house. Ben in maintenance, his team cleaning up the beaches, the debris. I know Jim and Steve had called in tree contractors, and they were in on a regular basis and cleared everything for us, and we're pretty much back to normal with exception of a few trees here and there that still need to get taken care of. So we have a great community and we have a great staff, so we are truly blessed. We hope everybody has a safe and fun, hopefully warm Memorial Day weekend. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I guess we got some old business we need to tidy up yet as well.
Sure. Moving on to old business. So town hall reminders. So we do have 2 more town halls coming up. June 21st, Lake Monterey. The Lake Committee is going to roll out some of the things that they're focused in on for projects here on the lake, around the lake. Please come out, bring in any ideas, questions you might have. July 26th, capital investment renewal. What the heck is that? The current capital reserve expires at the end of the 2027 season. So this town hall event is to roll out some thoughts, process on what we need to do to try and renew the capital reserve here at Sandy Pines. So stay tuned for updates on that, and we'd love to get everybody's input on that. I'll talk a little bit more on that in the new business. Resolution processing comments. So wanted to go in a little bit in depth to this process. So you know, over the years, the board has worked hard to maintain transparency on our resolutions and communications to members, and a lot of work goes into this process. We had feedback from last year to, hey, why don't we get an area to communicate before you vote? We heard that. Paul explained that's where that area is for members to comment on any agenda items. And maybe you can comment before a resolution is voted on, and it might impact one of the board members here. We don't have any resolutions on the agenda today, but you know, the board gets requests for bylaw change reviews, rule reviews, and maybe some changes. So prior to drafting a resolution that the board will bring forward to support, they go through a lot of parameters, and some of the parameters, this isn't all of them, but you know, some of them is it for the betterment of the park? Is this really a betterment for the park, or is it just for a certain area of the park or a certain membership area? Does it make sense? Does it conflict or contradict existing rules or bylaws? These are just a few of them that the board kind of filters through. If there's still questions, they'll kick it to the executive committee. We have executive committee, the chairperson, the vice chair, the treasurer, the secretary, and then still, if we have any questions, concerns, thoughts, we'll kick it out for legal counsel input as well. If a board-supported resolution makes it through that process, the resolution then will appear on a board meeting agenda. And then the board brings it forward for the membership. We read it at a meeting, and then that resolution sits and marinates for about 30 days. We've been doing that for the last 5+ years, where we bring a resolution, if it hits here, and it sits and marinates for 30 days. That allows the members to digest it, ask questions, things of that nature. And then finally, after 30 days, we typically say 30 days, but it's really the next board meeting where this thing pops up. Then finally, the board may vote on it, they may not. If they support it, they'll move it forward to a vote. So why the explanation on this, right? We just wanted to highlight the process, because we do get questions a lot with, hey, I didn't know that there was a resolution out there, or why are we voting on this? That hasn't been communicated. We do try to over-communicate, and we do try to put this through a very thorough process before it hits an agenda item and hits out here before it goes on a ballot for a vote or we make a rule change in the rule book. So just wanted to bring that editorial or education to the membership. So thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeff. And as I glance at some of the new business, it looks like June is going to be a busy month.
June is typically a busy month, and you know everybody's kind of like, wow, we just got back. You know, Kimberly's financials were what on month 7, month 8, month 8, 7, yeah, and so board of directors petitions. We have 3 potential openings. So Paul has done a great job for us. He's in his last term. Per the bylaws, you can serve 2 3-year consecutive terms. So Paul's been on here 6 years. Feels like just yesterday, doesn't it, Paul?
No.
Ellen Carpenter, her term is up this year, as well as Bob Deckinga. So we've got some important potential areas to fill. So we encourage anybody to. This is the time to help guide the park and improve it, and make certain it's solidified for the future. Petitions are available at member service. You need 25 signatures. Please get more than 25, because we have had petitions fall out because they got a seasonal or they got an associate. It has to be a member. Please make certain that you get a member sign on that. Memorial Holiday Weekend, we talked a little about the boating. We have the service coming up, 9 a.m. Abby has a great service plan for us. I believe we have the memorial wall here again in this building. There'll be some refreshments. So last year we had a little bit of rainy and cold weather. This year it's just gonna be cold. So we're supposed to have some sun. Lake Town Hall we already talked about, but bring some ideas too. This is supposed to be meant to be interactive. So bring some ideas for what you would like to see improve the lake. And Whiteman Engineering. So we announced last month that we partnered with a company called Whiteman Engineering. If you've seen the individuals in the yellow fluorescent shirts walking around, they've been all over the park. They've been scouring our park. They're going to continue to do that for this season. They have Whiteman right on their shirts. They are a third-party company that we hired that are going through our structures, our buildings, and they're assessing them. And they're supposed to provide a proposal to myself, the board of directors, as to here's where the structures stand. They need to be completely replaced. These can be repaired. Here's the life left in these structures. Here's the cost for that. We're gathering all of this information, and then Whiteman Engineering will be part of this town hall in July to share some of this data, poll member input. This is our park, all right? It's our investment. So when you buy in and it's maybe $40,000 and you turn around and sell it for 80 or 100,000, that's because we have an awesome park here with a lot of good investments, structures, amenities, things of that nature, but they do need to be repaired and or replaced. So we also need member input on some of this stuff. So those are the people walking around. Don't be afraid of them. You can't miss them. And hope to see you in the town hall.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
And before we adjourn, I just want to remind that once we do adjourn, there will be time for question and answers. So you're welcome to hang around, if not necessarily to ask a question, but maybe just to listen to what others have to say. So this time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So move, Scott.
Support, Paul. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, and 43 minutes, not bad. Thank you.
Not bad at all. So we move into the Q&A session here. Again, Ian has done a really good job with the audio and the live streaming, things of that nature. But in order for members online that are live streaming or even on YouTube to hear really well, we need members to step up to the mic. If you have questions, comments, site number, name, and we allocate 30 minutes. So I am getting the stopwatch ready. And I do have some write-in questions as well. If we don't have a lot of members asking questions, I do have write-in questions that I can read. All right, we'll start now. Wow. All right, hey, while you guys are thinking, I'll do a write-in question. How about that? Site 1130. Hello, would there be any way to get a picnic table or swing at the beach just across from the golf cart bridge where the kayak rentals are? It would be amazing to have some sort of seating there. We will entertain that. Right now, again, the Lake Committee has a bunch of different things that they're looking at doing. They have some ideas over in that area by the kayak launch. I don't want to steal any of their thunder from, prior to their town hall, but they've got some really cool things that they're looking at. So we'll bring that forward. We have a Lake Committee next Tuesday, and I've got that on the list. So good question. Member at Site 978, seasonal camping sites. I've been asked by several members about the way the seasonal sites are done. They're all put in a lottery, then drawn out. That can't be correct. We have the same couple by us for the past 4 or 5 years on the same lot. Trailer never moves. One across from us are going on 2 seasons now, but yet there's a waiting list to get a seasonal site in the park. It isn't right if there's a waiting list, but yet the same people have first choice if they want that lot for the following year or not. It shouldn't take years to get a seasonal site versus a boat stake. So seasonal sites, here's the process, right? We have 12 of them. And if you go out online and you look at the budget, somewhere towards the bottom, you can see the value that those seasonal individuals pay every year. And it's almost twice as much as what the dues are. So when the fees go through the budgeting process, and there's increases on those, which typically happens, we do reach out to the individuals that have those sites currently, and we ask them if they would like to stay. They have the first right of refusal to do that. So why do we do that? We know who they are. They've been good tenants. They don't cause any problems, and they're willing to pay twice as much as what the members are. So typically 50% or less go into a lottery. We do have a lottery, and yes, there is a waiting list, but that's typically how we look at those seasonals, because if we turn those over every year, you don't know who you're getting every year, and there are individuals that want to stay there, and that fee does not include some of the other stuff that the park asks. It doesn't include pump outs and things of that nature. So it's a pretty good deal for them, and it's a pretty good deal for us. So that's why we do it. Not all of them go into a lottery. About 50% or less do. Any questions yet? Okay. Comment from a member at 4293. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to thank you for working so hard on answering all the questions regarding the park models that have the sliders removed. Also, for answering questions regarding the green space and tornado cleanup. I appreciate Jim's knowledge at the park inspector's area, expertise, and ability to explain information. Thanks to Jim, Jeff, and everyone on the team who has been working so diligently with the state. Appreciate your time and effort. No need to respond, just wanted to say thank you and that she appreciates everything that we're doing. As far as that, last meeting we did talk about, we do have an Eagle meeting, 1 or 2 Eagle meetings in June, and we're staying on top of if the state is trying to change any of the rules, regulations, laws, and we're one of many campgrounds now that are asking for Eagle to bring us into these conversations, so stay tuned. Member at Site 0037, A comment was made at town hall meeting concerning tree cleanup. The comment was, if you have been maintaining an area of green space, the member is responsible for any tree in that green space. Living on the lake, we were told we were responsible for mowing the green space in front of our lot to the lake. There are many trees in that area. Because we have maintained that area, are we responsible for any and all tree removal or major cleanup in the green space? If we stop mowing and raking the area, will the tree responsibility and cleanup revert back to the park? So I have Jim standing here, or sitting here. He'll correct me if I misstate this. But I believe the comment that this individual is referring to is, there are areas in the park where members have asked for the park to remove trees, take care of trees, that they have expanded into the green space their own property. So they've built a fire pit, they've extended pavers, they've extended other areas, other things into that green space. So they beautified it. We appreciate that, because some of these green space areas we can't get to, nor do we have the staff to get to all of them. But if you're beautifying that area and you want a tree removed or a tree falls down, call the park inspector, we'll evaluate it. A lot of the trees that came down this past storm, half of them were in the green space. I'll give you an example. A tree is in the green space and it falls down. Half is in the green space, half is on the property. It's on the fence of or a deck of a member. That is an insurance claim. That's why we have insurance here. So if it falls on your property, doesn't matter where that tree came from, if it falls on your property, it's an insurance claim. A member is responsible for that. But again, the contractors, Jim and team did a really good job with that scenario. 50% of that tree is in the green space, 50% of it is on the member site. Park inspector, contractor went out there, met with those individuals. 50% of that got paid by the park, 50% of that got paid by the member, and they had an insurance claim. So we try to assess that and then determine whose responsibility is it. So if it's our responsibility, we'll take care of it. If it's your personal beautification project and then something happens to it, then that might be your cost. Call the park inspector. All right. Site K481. Can you please put signs on the public beaches that say no dogs, no alcohol, and have PSO patrol occasionally? I've asked multiple times for this to be addressed, and nothing has been done as far as a sign or patrolling. I've never asked for anything before in the 15-plus years at Sandy Pines. The beach is my favorite spot in Sandy Pines, and I think the rules for dogs and alcohol make sense, but wish they would be enforced. I have mentioned it to the dog owners myself, but that is awkward and uncomfortable if they get upset with me, which they sometimes do. Thank you. Thank you for doing everything that you are doing in the park, and thanks for the consideration. So, pop quiz. How many beaches are in the park?
One big one.
2, 3, 1. So if you look at the map, there's a beach behind us, and there's a beach over by Dairy Dip in the Phase 1 pavilion. We have a beach in Phase 3, and we have a small beach in Phase 3. So we really have 3 beaches. Contrary to some belief, we do not have 2,163 beaches in the park here. So response back to this individual is we do have signs ordered. We are hoping to have them for Memorial Weekend. They are not here yet. You're going to have 2 beaches, or 2 signs at this beach and 2 signs at the other beach. I do know the patrol does take place from the PSO, because I've seen violations written, and I've had upset members who have had said violation written against them come into my office. So they do periodically patrol that beach, but we will have signs posted. Stay tuned. I think we're about a week out. Any questions yet? You're going to ask later. Name and site number, please.
Robin Greenfield, site 6103. Are dogs allowed to run by the paddle boats or paddle boards and stuff? Is that considered a beach? I'm not trying to stir the pot, but
Right.
I'm just saying.
Are they on a leash? Are they not on a leash?
I don't have
All
a dog.
dogs in the park have to be on a leash.
Correct, but are they allowed to go over there?
They.
Is that like the dog area? I don't know.
That is not a dog area.
Okay.
I have seen dogs walked along
It's okay.
the area of open area. That's not a beach over there, but I have seen them over there. They can walk there. I've seen them get in the water. The challenge with dogs in that area is they have to be on a leash. They cannot be run free.
I'm just curious about that whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
is there, I don't have a dog, so it doesn't pertain to me, but is there an area that dogs are supposed to go into the water, or?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
I mean, if you have a lakefront site, you know, I've seen dogs go out their lakefront site in that area, but there's no designated doggy beach. Okay. All right. Thank you, Robin. Site 6060, what is the status of the heat pump? And I ran into this individual earlier today as well, and good conversation. So, the status of the heat pumps. The heat pumps are they're in the rule book. You can do a heat pump. The heat pump has to be connected to your trailer. That's what it says in the rule book. Okay. So we've had some people say, all right, gray area, it's connected to my trailer, but it's connected to porches as well. We've had that conversation with the state, we've had that conversation with the county, we've had that conversation with the township. They look at that as conditioned space. If you are conditioning your trailer and your porches, you have gone outside of the 400 square foot, total square foot, that is maximum in a campsite. Your member site is a campsite. Each porch, trailer, and other said porch on the other side has to have its own thermal envelope, its own heating and cooling system. So basically, what we are doing with this is the same thing that we're doing with the doors, windows, and sliders. As these come up during sale, they fail, they need to be replaced. We got to get them back to where the state is expecting them to be, which is connected to your trailer. And then if you have a porch on the left or the right, you have to have your own individual heating and cooling. The state, in our conversations, the state looks at the porches as you shouldn't have any heating and cooling on. There's a porch. This is a campsite. And we've like, okay, well, as long as it's its individual spot, then individual space, it'll meet the state requirements. So, this individual earlier this afternoon when I met with her, she thanked us for the clarification, and she is correcting that because she's had raccoons eat up all of the tubing underneath. So that's another issue that we've run into with some of those ducting under the porches. So. Any other questions? Those are all the write-in questions that came into us. So, again, good questions. We tried to respond to them as quickly as possible in writing, and then if we have time, like we do here in a public setting. "13 minutes and 46 seconds. Going once? Going twice? All right, this concludes our Q&A. Everybody have a safe and blessed holiday, and stay warm. Thank you.
I know those are nice, aren't they? They write really smooth.
It's just wrong, that's all I can say.
have been here, he